Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So to start today's video off, I'm going to quote Elon Musk from 2011, a decade ago. Second place should need a telescope to see us. Elon Musk, 2011. A decade of brilliant execution later, and there is absolutely no question, second place most certainly does need a telescope to see Tesla. In fact, I don't even know who second place is, they're that far behind. This is a perfect example of the saying, clarity is power. A decade ago, Tesla had the vision to not only be in a leadership position when it came to electric vehicles, but to be so dominant and so far ahead of the competition, it would be truly embarrassing. And that's exactly where we find ourselves today. So in this video, we're holding Tesla accountable. What were they saying their plans were a decade ago, and how well have they executed against those plans? So let's get into the video. And by the way, since I know there's a lot of crypto lovers watching and people who like free stuff, it's your lucky day. For a limited time, you can get up to $250 in free crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. It also helps out the channel. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $250 just for opening an account. And if you fund your account with $100, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $1,600. Unless you don't like free stocks, that is. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it. As we go through today's video, I want you guys in the back of your mind to think about the kind of things that Tesla today are saying they plan to do over the next decade. For example, around 2030, produce around 20 million electric vehicles per year. And throughout the decade, build out the world's largest fleet of fully autonomous robo-taxis that can drive people from point A to point B without a driver being necessary, allowing owners of Tesla vehicles to literally make money while they sleep. In addition, Tesla plans to completely disrupt the energy grid, oil and gas companies, and utilities with rooftop solar, home battery storage, and automated software to move energy around. They also plan to introduce a $25,000 Tesla, and spoiler alert, there'll be another subsequent generation of vehicle after that as well, towards the end of the decade. And we also now know that Tesla's really getting heavily involved in artificial intelligence and is very likely in the future to offer Dojo as a service for neural network training. I know some of this stuff sounds a little bit insane at this point in time, but that's kind of the point. Keep this all in mind as we look back 10 years ago at what Tesla was planning to do and whether or not they've done it. Tesla Motors Company Overview, summer 2011, literally a decade ago. Our vision, create the most compelling car company of the 21st century. Now, I'm just going to jump in here. Has Tesla done this? Are they now unequivocally the most compelling car company of the 21st century? Spoiler alert, yes. How could we possibly know this is the case? This is kind of an intangible metric, right? How could I possibly say this? Well, let's think about some potential data points. Have you ever seen the reaction of a kid, let's say under the age of 10, seeing a Tesla, interacting with a Tesla? If you haven't, you're really missing out on a valuable piece of information. They lose their f***ing shit. But of course, appealing to kids isn't the only thing that matters. What about teenagers? What about adults? Tesla today is far and away the world's most valuable car company, using the term very loosely there. The stock market and investors clearly also see Tesla as the most compelling car company of the 21st century. The numbers don't lie. So kids are in love with Teslas. They're obsessed. They find them fascinating. And investors are letting their money do the talking. This is probably also a good opportunity to point out that Tesla has never needed to and still doesn't pay for paid advertising because their products are so good they sell themselves. Find another company with this type of market cap that doesn't do paid advertising. I challenge you. I could continue with the reasons as to why Tesla has become the most compelling car company of the 21st century, but I just want to leave you with one final piece of food for thought. This very YouTube channel. There is an entire ecosystem of people whose full-time dedication and focus in life is to sharing their thoughts and opinions, telling the story of this company. Where's the Solving the Money Problem of Ford? Where's the GM Daily? Where's the Dave Lee on Volkswagen? There isn't one. Kind of an important point. Now let's get back to this quote. By driving the world's transition to electric vehicles. Now, has Tesla done this? Unequivocally, the answer is yes. All of the world's major automakers, except for the morons at Toyota, we won't go there, are now urgently racing to develop their EV programs, investing heavily, billions, tens of billions of dollars, claiming that by this date and that date, at least X amount of their fleet is going to be electric vehicles. Tesla has succeeded in driving the world's transition to electric vehicles. There is no question about this. This is very important. From day one, Tesla has had a very clear and compelling vision, stuck to it, and made that vision a reality. This really matters. Tesla's product roadmap revealed again in 2011, starting out with the low-volume Tesla Roadster, then the release of the Model S, which as this report appeared, hadn't yet actually been released to the public, aiming for around 20,000 units per year. We now know Tesla was far in excess of that, with the price starting at $49,900 asterisk there, net of the US tax credit of $7,500. Now, this seems a little bit low. Did Tesla actually achieve this goal? First of all, let's bring up an inflation calculator. We've got to factor in inflation over the last decade, and we've also got to add back in that $7,500 credit. First of all, $4,900 plus $7,500 equals $57,400. So we'll take that number. We're now over at a US inflation calculator. We're going to put the starting year of 2011, ending year of 2021, and we're going to use that figure there to see what should the Model S be starting at today if Tesla met their goal. $68,693.26. So did Tesla meet their target? As we can see, on October 15, 2020, the Model S price changed to $69,420. So technically, I think we can give Tesla a pass on this. They got there. However, with the refreshed Model S just being unveiled, no longer starting at that price point. But of course, we've got the Model 3 and Y sort of filling in that gap. I think we can give Tesla a passing grade on this. Just. Of much more interest in the product roadmap, however, is Tesla's Gen 3 platform, aka the Model 3 and the Model Y. Smaller vehicle platform, again, net of the US tax credit, so really starting at $37,500, positioned for mass market appeal and volume. Did Tesla release the Model 3 and the Model Y? Yes. Are they outselling practically everything else in the product categories by a huge margin? Yes, I think the mass market appeal has been achieved. And of course, we've got the $25,000 Tesla just around the corner, the Gen 4 product as well. This was kind of obvious. You can kind of infer Tesla's roadmap over time. Eventually, they want to get right down to the low end of the market as well. So, did Tesla deliver on the pricing for their smaller vehicles? Again, we head over to the Tesla website. Let's find out. Model 3 standard range starting at $39,900. Pretty close. Of course, we didn't factor in any inflation at all there. But given the fact that this was off in the distance anyway, I think it's worth leaving out. I'll give Tesla an almost passing grade on this one as well. Pretty damn close, which is incredibly impressive. And of course, let's just ignore all the features and functionality that Tesla didn't promise in those early plans as well. They weren't expecting to have a car covered in sensors, capable of autonomous driving, or any of the myriad other features that are now available and standard in every Model 3. And you guys might notice that even the performance version of the Model 3, which today actually outperforms the initial Model S vehicles in every metric, comes in under what Tesla's initial net purchase price was targeted for the Model S. So if you really want to nitpick about it, Tesla has really over-delivered on this by a significant margin. This next slide is quite interesting. Tesla's showing that they were uniquely positioned. There was basically no performance electric vehicles at the time. The Roadster was plugging that gap. Shout out to today's Plaid Model S doing the same thing. Also, no pure electric vehicles in the premium vehicle category. The Model S and the Model X delivered there. Also, no pure electric vehicles in the small premium vehicle category. We now know the Model 3 and Model Y are absolutely dominating this, eating lunch of BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Lexus. I could keep going on. It's kind of embarrassing. And curiously, a very early hint that potentially in the future, the very fact that Tesla included these categories here, a little bit of a hint that maybe down the track, we may even see, for example, subcompact and city vehicles from Tesla. Shout out to the $25,000 Tesla, the Model 2 as it's being called today. And family vehicles, very curious terminology here. Could this be a van, a Tesla van? Well, time will tell. But let's think about this for a moment, just from a logical point of view. Given that this is an investor presentation from Tesla, why would they even include categories that they weren't in the future potentially going to enter? I think that this was a subtle hint, just like it was very obvious that there'd be a generation after the Gen 3 vehicle back in 2011, the $25,000 Tesla. The hints have been there all along, and in 2016 they were clarified in Tesla's Secret Master Plan Part 2, suggesting that Tesla would have vehicles in every category of major terrestrial transport, obviously including subcompact and city vehicles and also family vehicles. And now we come once again to that brilliant quote from Elon Musk. Absolutely prophetic. Tesla wasn't just aiming to be competitive. They weren't just aiming to be a leader. they were aiming to completely and utterly embarrass the entire automotive industry, which is exactly what they've done. I don't think second place, even with the benefit of the soon, hopefully soon, to be launched James Webb Telescope, would even have a hope in seeing Tesla. It's that embarrassing. Tesla have really executed on this. I really want to stress this. Tesla could have said, we want to be the leader. We want to be first place. No, they didn't say that. They effectively said, we want to be so far ahead of the competition that it's completely and utterly embarrassing. And they've delivered on the goods. Round of applause to Tesla, Elon Musk, the leadership team, and every single employee that's worked at Tesla between 2011 and 2021. Job well done, but it's not finished. And what do you know? EV leadership on range and cost. 10 years ago, Tesla leads on range. We can see here the Model S and the Tesla Roadster dominating the so-called competition. Tesla leads on cost, with the battery pack cost better than anyone else. Now, spoiler alert, in case you don't know, this remains the case today. Tesla is still literally miles ahead of the competition on range per kilowatt hour of battery pack and on battery costs. This is not up for debate. Over 10 years, Tesla has begun in a leadership position and their lead has further extended. Now I ask you guys a question. Cast your mind forward another 10 years. We've seen Tesla's battery invest today, the 4680 cells going to insane volumes of production. Tesla now delivering vehicles with over 400 miles of range. The Cybertruck soon over 500 miles of range. The point is, Tesla began the decade in a significant lead, and their lead has been retained over the entire decade. Oh, by the way, the competition is coming all over itself prematurely. How disappointing. Here in the hardware stack from day one, Tesla really vertically integrated 18650 cells, which by the way, incredibly, are the same cells, effectively maybe slight modifications, but the same form factor cells now being used in the Tesla Plaid Model S to get insane range. Just think about this for a while. This is before the 4680 cells, and now Tesla have a vehicle that does 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds with close to 400 miles of range. They've continued to iterate on the battery pack design, the motor, the gearbox, everything. It is stunning to see. This is the power of vertical integration. The other approach is to cobble together third-party parts from other suppliers. You'll never end up with the same efficiencies in cost and performance as designing and developing everything in-house. This is so super important. And Tesla has so much data and experience now, over a decade of having this fully integrated hardware stack. It's going to be very, very difficult for anyone else to come close to competing with Tesla because they don't have that same experience and expertise. And interestingly enough, we'll read here, with deep intellectual property and patent protection throughout, over 40 patents awarded, over 200 patent applications pending. And we recall, a few years after this, Tesla actually open sourced all their patents and said, look, you guys can use this as long as you do so in good faith. We don't want to slow down the transition to electric vehicles. So here, look, here's all our tech. Just go for it. 3 years after this presentation, a blog post on the Tesla website from Elon Musk. All our patent belong to you. Shout out to the nerd reference if you don't get it. Not even going to bother explaining. I won't read all this, but just the key parts. Yesterday, there was a wall of patents in the lobby of our Palo Alto headquarters. That is no longer the case. They have been removed in the spirit of the open source movement for the advancement of electric vehicle technology. Tesla Motors was created to accelerate the advent of sustainable transport. If we clear a path to the creation of compelling electric vehicles, but then lay intellectual property landmines behind us to inhibit others, we are acting in a manner contrary to that goal. Tesla will not initiate patent lawsuits against anyone who, in good faith, wants to use our technology. Skipping ahead a little bit, at Tesla, however, we felt compelled to create patents for our concern that big car companies would copy our technology and then use their massive manufacturing, sales, and marketing power to overwhelm Tesla. We couldn't have been more wrong. The unfortunate reality is the opposite. Electric car programs, or programs for any vehicle that doesn't burn hydrocarbons, at the majority of manufacturers are small to non-existent, constituting an average of far less than 1% of their total vehicle sales. At best, the large automakers are producing electric vehicles with limited range and limited volume. Some produce no zero-emission cars at all. So keep in mind, this blog post was 2014. Can you imagine being Ford or GM or any of the other legacy automakers, hearing about this company open sourcing their patents? Hey guys, in good faith, you can use our technology. We want to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable transport, and not acting on that opportunity. This was 7 years ago, guys. And I hate to say it, but I've been repeating this and I'm going to keep saying it. The vast majority of legacy automakers are not going to survive this decade as a result of being far too late to begin producing their own electric vehicles. How unfortunate. Just want to read the title of this slide. It says so much in so few words. Company culture of relentless innovation. Question: have we seen Tesla over the last decade? demonstrate a company culture of relentless innovation? We sure fucking have. Shout out to the Model Y octovalve heat pump system that then appeared into the Model 3. Shout out to the gigantic gigacasting. Shout out to the new Tesla Plaid Model S motor. Shout out to Tesla's full self-driving strategy. Shout out to having the world's leading computer vision expert, Andre Karpathy, working at the company. I could keep going on and on and on and on. Again, this is inarguable. Tesla weren't just talking the talk. They've walked the walk. Relentless innovation is the perfect two-word summary of what Tesla does for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Meanwhile, the polar opposite is true of practically every other automotive company on planet Earth. Sluggish or entirely absent innovation at best. Most of the world's automotive companies could be summed up as complacent comfort versus relentless innovation. This has really mattered. Now, some of you guys and girls may not actually be aware of this, but in the past, Daimler owned a stake in Tesla. They made a $76 million investment and partnered on some technology. Toyota, very similar story, a $50 million investment. Tesla actually built and developed the drivetrain for Toyota's electric RAV4. And this, coincidentally, may be the very first appearance of the number 69 in a Tesla presentation. Definitely not the last in a total coincidence. And of course, the investment and partnership from Panasonic, $30 million investment. Tell you what, things could have panned out quite differently if Daimler and Toyota really leveraged the partnerships with Tesla and scaled things up. As I've talked about in the past, I think over the long term, things are going to come full circle, and Tesla will ultimately end up supplying battery and powertrain to other automotive manufacturers to save them from imminent bankruptcy, but only when Tesla doesn't need those for their own needs. This could be a number of years. Another quote, just 3 words, but summing up Tesla's approach so brilliantly: building better cars. Is this the point I remind you that the Model S has literally been named the best car ever? Tesla wins practically every award ever for every vehicle they make. There's nothing even close to them in terms of the same price point, performance, features, and functionality in any category, period. Again, Tesla not only talking the talk, but walking the walk. These 3 words said a lot more than it first seemed. As I mentioned, Tesla makes vehicles so good, they sell themselves. They literally don't even need to do paid advertising, and they sell every vehicle they make. How? That's right, because they just build better cars. What a crazy idea. I just want to once again remind you guys that this is a 2011 presentation, and we can see Tesla already with the 17-inch touchscreen built into their vehicle, getting rid of the clusterfuck of 4 trillion different buttons and knobs when everything can be done through software and a touchscreen. Talk about being ahead of your time. Tesla was also aiming, with the Model S, for a 5-star safety rating. We now know at the time it was tested, the Model S was the safest vehicle ever tested. Ever. The safest vehicle ever tested. I think Tesla did what they said they were going to do, and then some. Another critically important line here: fun to drive. Pretty much exactly how every person who's ever been in or driven a Tesla would describe the experience. Fun. People say they just go out for rides because they enjoy driving in their Tesla so much. It brings them so much joy. Very few other vehicles, if any, on Earth where people have this same response. Tesla literally said what they were planning to do to make it fun to drive. Not decent, not comfortable. Fun. Shout out to fart mode and many other things as well. Tesla have done exactly what they said they were going to do. Interestingly, Tesla was targeting up to 300 miles of range. Today, now they have products with 400 plus miles of range. And again, soon there'll be 500 plus miles with the Cybertruck. And this, fascinating, hilarious, so amusing to me to read. 0 to 60 time in around 6 seconds. Tesla Plaid Model S now does it in 2 seconds. In a decade, that is a stunning advance in performance. And remember, they're using the same 18650 cells in the Model S today as they were in 2012. Yes, some refinement, but effectively it's the same form factor. This just goes to show how resourceful and how ingenious the Tesla engineers are. One more really fascinating slide to me: cumulative Model S reservations. We can see with limited marketing effort, already Tesla was seeing very strong demand for their flagship product. I would love to see the Cybertruck reservation equivalent. The online crowdsourced tracker suggesting over 1 million reservations. Now, certainly not all of those will actually follow through, but this gives you an interesting sense of how far Tesla has come over the decade. Tesla saw reservations in the hundreds of thousands for Cybertruck within just a few days after its unveiling, whereas it was in the hundreds for the Model S just a decade ago. And just from a financial point of view, Tesla's total cumulative resources available a decade ago, $662 million. Today, give or take around 20 billion, with a B, billion dollars. They've really come a long way. Another slide, very few words, but saying so much. Efficient product development. talk about this. I mean, Tesla's recently repaid their entire Shanghai construction loan. They only drew on about half of the total funds available. We're seeing amazing operating leverage starting to come into play now as well. Tesla by far and away the most capex efficient automotive company on the planet, no question, by miles, and also transforming the customer experience. As we know, you can literally order a Tesla on your phone in under a minute. Never mind Tesla service coming to you. Never mind over-the-air software updates. Again, Tesla not only talking the talk, but walking the walk. Just quickly touching on this slide here, we see Tesla was already talking about the Model S and X and 2 future products. Shout out to the Model 3 and the Model Y. Another very bold move from Tesla at the time, Tesla owned distribution and service. Epic vertical integration, resulting in a much better customer experience, control of shopping and service experience, capture the full retail price, lower facilities, warranty and inventory costs. And this has proven to be a masterstroke. We're hearing now, in fact, some of you guys may have recently seen a video with General Motors CEO Mary Barra talking about their trusted dealerships and customers wanting to go to their trusted dealers to buy a car. Get fucked. This is one of those things where most legacy automotive manufacturers now are encumbered by having a dealership model. They're losing margin. Dealers make all their margins servicing vehicles. If they're electric, they won't make any money because they hardly break. There's almost no maintenance costs. Therefore, very little service, very little margin for the dealerships. It's going to be an absolute train wreck over the coming 5+ years, watching legacy automotive manufacturers try to somehow distance themselves from the dealership model without going broke in the process. It's going to be an absolute mess and a nightmare. Tesla had the vision and the foresight to see and do things a different way, and it's really paying dividends. And this is a really fun slide to look at. Tesla comparing their IPO numbers to the numbers as of the presentation, June 30th, 2011. 4 million miles driven to 13 million miles. We now know that that is well into the billions. Tesla had just 650 employees at their IPO, 1,200 plus at the time of this presentation, and today we now know that number is well over 80,000. Absolutely incredible growth. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this retrospective look at where Tesla was at 10 years ago, what they were aiming for, and whether or not they've delivered on those plans. I think it's safe to say Tesla did what they said they were going to do. And again, I want to bring this video full circle, cast your mind forward to the kind of things that Tesla today are saying they plan to do over the next decade. There is little reason to doubt Tesla's ability to execute on their future plans. Now the timing's not always going to be perfect. Some of the minor details may shift and change. That's totally understandable. But the overarching vision of Tesla, we know what they're planning to do. Robotaxis are coming. Huge disruption of energy is coming. Reaching vehicle production of around 20 million units per year is coming. How many of the folks in the mainstream finance media think that any of these things are really going to happen? How many of the Wall Street analysts actually believe Tesla's going to achieve these goals? How many of these folks even understand the value, the implications of Tesla having a neural network training service, Dojo as a service in the future? Shout out to Amazon Web Services. I think you'll find the answer is approximately none. At some point, surely, investors and the market in general are going to start believing Tesla when they say, hey guys, we plan to do this and this is how we're going to do it. But until that point, I really still think the stock market is completely asleep to the opportunity that Tesla stock presents. That's why I continue to buy with every spare cent. Tesla does what they say they're going to do, and I have no reason to see that changing anytime this decade. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you guys enjoy this retrospective look at where Tesla was at in 2011? How far they've come, their integrity, their consistency, their clarity, their focus, the power of knowing exactly what you're aiming for and moving unrelentingly towards that goal? In short, isn't it amazing to see that Tesla did what they said they were going to do? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you'd like up to $250 in free crypto bonuses with BlockFi, use the link in the description. You can also get 2 free stocks with WeBull and a free stock with Stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.